Pleasure of coaching some of the best kids in the district as the head softball coach for Carter High School. We have given back so much to this community over the last 5 years, donating to families in need during the holidays, Thanksgiving dinners, Christmas gifts for the kids at Ronald McDonald House.
Over the last 6 months, we've worked on and off trying to keep our schools up to par, keeping the grass mowed, the weeds down, the hedges trimmed, and the trees in good shape. And we just want our school sites to look really good. We're working really hard here to make them look nice, so when our students come back, they come back to some beautiful campuses.
The heart and the passion that the kids show is something that I couldn't be more proud of, and I'm a very proud member of this community and of this workforce for Rialto Unified School District.
Knowing that I went to this school district, it's amazing to be able to come back and be able to work where I went to school. As you probably can see the background, these are just some of the things that we take care of. We have gardens, we have citrus gardens and fruit trees and things like that. But the thing about it that's made it a challenge is something that we've never thought about in our wildest memories that we can even think of, is this coronavirus, the COVID-19. This has really made it a challenge because not only do we not have the kids who I love to speak with whenever I'm at the school grounds and enjoying them and asking questions. They love to know what's going on, and I really like to see the joy that they have when they're out playing in the fields and the grass and things like that. So it's really been a challenge because the way we have to work now and the way that things are growing has really made it hard to function. The kids, the teachers, all of that stuff that you're used to seeing that kind of made, enjoyable to come to work and things. You don't have those things now. And not having that now, I miss that. But it's just something I wanted to know, the pride that I take in the school district is I'm one of the ones where, we work a 6 to 2:30 schedule. I'm here maybe 5:30, 5:25 every day because I like to get here early, get my mind focused on the challenge of that day, what I want to get done, remembering the day in advance, what I can do to make the school much more beautified, but at the same time enjoy for those who are going to come and see the school district, because you get people who are coming to visit and you want them to be, you want to be proud of what they see, and so that they leave with an experience of, wow, that's a great school district, just in case they might have family members moving into this city. So this is something that I really enjoy. Just when you think about getting up every morning and then getting the job done and being able to get that person and say, hey, that looks beautiful, that's what it's all about for me.
On this edition of Bridging Futures, we look at the essential employees of the Rialto Unified School District's Grounds Department.
Grounds is one of the best kept secrets here in Rialto. We're the unseen employees that we come and go in the middle of the daytime, so you don't see us. You can hear us, but we can't see us. Out of the 26 employees here, we cover the 29 school sites in the district on a daily basis, Monday through Friday. And we get in there and we get out as quickly as we can.
Not only am I a grounds worker here with Rialto Unified School District, I grew up in the district. I'm a graduate of Rialto High School. I also have the pleasure of coaching some of the best kids in the district as the head softball coach for Carter High School. We have given back so much to this community over the last 5 years, donating to families in need during the holidays, Thanksgiving dinners, Christmas gifts for the kids at Ronald McDonald House.
Over the last 6 months, we've worked on and off trying to keep our schools up to par, keeping the grass mowed, the weeds down, the hedges trimmed, and the trees in good shape. And we just want our school sites to look really good. We're working really hard here to make them look nice, so when our students come back, they come back to some beautiful campuses.
The heart and the passion that the kids show is something that I couldn't be more proud of, and I'm a very proud member of this community and of this workforce for Rialto Unified School District.
Knowing that I went to this school district, it's amazing to be able to come back and be able to work where I went to school. As you probably can see the background, these are just some of the things that we take care of. We have gardens, we have citrus gardens and fruit trees and things like that. But the thing about it that's made it a challenge is something that we've never thought about in our wildest memories that we can even think of, is this coronavirus, the COVID-19. This has really made it a challenge because not only do we not have the kids who I love to speak with whenever I'm at the school grounds and enjoying them and asking questions. They love to know what's going on, and I really like to see the joy that they have when they're out playing in the fields and the grass and things like that. So it's really been a challenge because the way we have to work now and the way that things are growing has really made it hard to function. You know, the kids, the teachers, all of that stuff that you're used to seeing that kind of made, you know, enjoyable to come to work and things. You don't have those things now, and not having that now, I miss that. But it's just something I wanted to know, the pride that I take in the school district is I'm one of the ones where, you know, we work a 6 to 2:30 schedule. I'm here maybe 5:30, 5:25 every day because I like to get here early, get my mind focused on the
Okay, Nancy, we're on.
Okay. Well, good evening. It is Wednesday, October 21st, 2020. I am Nancy O'Kelly, President of the Rialto USD Board of Education, and I am calling this meeting to order at 6:32 p.m. First item is comments on closed session agenda items. Any person wishing to speak on any item on the closed session agenda will be granted 3 minutes. Do we have any, Dr. Avila?
No, we do not.
Okay. Oops, I got to move that. All right. Well, then the next order of business would be to have a motion to go into closed session. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Can I have a second? A second?
I was hoping somebody else would do it tonight, but second. You got it,
Thank
Martinez.
you. All right. And the items for discussion and consideration at the closed session of the board meeting are as follows. Public employee employment, discipline, dismissal, release, reassignment of employees, Government Code Section 54957. Second item, student expulsions, reinstatements, and expulsion enrollments. Third item, conference with labor negotiators, agency designated representatives, Cuauhtemoc Avila, EDD, Superintendent. Rhea MacGyver Gibbs, lead personnel agent, Personnel Services, and Rhonda Kramer, lead personnel agent, Personnel Services. Employee organizations at the California School Employees Association, Chapter 203, CSEA, Rialto Education Association, REA, and Communication Workers of America, CWA. And I will have a vote by board members to move into closed session. For me, it's an aye. Ms. Walker? Aye. Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Ayala?
Aye.
And Mr. Montes?
Aye.
Okay. We will be moving into closed session at 6:35 p.m.
Nancy and team, we're live. So if we can please adjust our microphones and put them on mute unless we're talking. We're hearing a lot of background information.
Original 40 birthday card plan.
Nancy, are we there?
I thought they'd build it.
Ms. O'Kelly?
Dr. Avila, would you like to end the call and call everybody back?
I think it's just all stopped. Okay. Okay, yeah.
I'm here, Dr. Avila.
Okay, thank you. Joe, you're there. Edgar, you're there. Dina, you're there?
Yeah. Martinez is here.
Dina, you're with us?
I'm here.
Hey, Dina.
I'm here.
Miss O'Kelly?
Really, the whole thing. But it's probably what it's taking, but he loved it that much.
Live. So if we can transition into open session.
Okay, I don't know how you all heard my husband's and my conversation about our license plate, but I hope you enjoyed it. I need a motion to adjourn closed session.
Well, move.
Okay, can I have a second?
Montes, second.
Thank you. Yes, please. We move things along much more quickly when we can, everybody's paying attention. All right, vote by board members to adjourn closed session. For me, it's an aye. Ms. Walker? Aye. Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Ayala?
Aye.
And Mr. Montes?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourning out of closed session at 7:07 p.m. We are reconvening open session at 7:07 p.m. First is the Pledge of Allegiance, which I will say. Everybody else, just please stand with your hand over your heart. Well, somebody's got to stop the conversation in the background.
Okay, how are we starting? So much.
I'm sorry, I just feel odd saying the Pledge of Allegiance while there is conversation going on. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, report out of closed session. Do we have one, Dr. Avila?
Yes, we do. The Board of Education accepted the administrative appointment of Bernadette Martinez, occupational therapist. The roll call vote was unanimous. And the Board of Education accepted the administrative appointment of Eva Velasquez, occupational therapist. The roll call vote was unanimous. And just a reminder to those staff members who are on call right now, because of items on the agenda, if you can please remind yourselves to mute your microphones, because we are picking up a lot of the background information from someone who's online. And that's all I have, Mrs. O'Kelly.
Okay, thank you. All right, next we move to adopting the agenda. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved, Montes.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Walker, second.
Thank you.
Walker?
Vote by board members. For me, it's an aye. Ms. Walker?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Ayala?
Aye.
And Mr. Montes?
Aye.
Okay. And now we move on to presentations. Our presentation tonight is on the final learning continuity and attendance plan, or LCP. And who will be presenting that?
Yes, thank you, Mrs. O'Kelly. Staff is adjusting right now. We have Dr. McDuffie, Beth Curtis, and Dr. Chavez who will be making the presentation.
Okay.
Good evening, President O'Kelly and board members. This is Dr. McDuffie,
Good evening.
Lead Strategic Agent. Thank you for your attention tonight on the LCP. And so we're just going to go ahead and get started with a short presentation. Okay, here we go. The LCP is a document that addresses the district's response during the COVID-19 pandemic through requirements of the Senate Bill SB 98. It just so happens to have the same acronym as the Local Control and Accountability Plan, or LCAP, which was established in 2013. This has made it confusing for many, but I want to clarify these terms before we start this presentation tonight. The plan that we will be referring to as the LCP is the Learning Continuity Plan, Learning Continuity and Attendance Plan, or LCP. Tonight we will first discuss the newly revised LCP and the county recommendations, then talk about the next steps and how we connect it to our local control and accountability plan, or LCAP. So I want to start with that and our purpose. So Since the board approval of our LCP on September 23rd, we received feedback and recommendation from the county office on October 7th of this year. Based on Ed Code Section 43509, districts have 15 days to share the recommendations with the school board during a regularly scheduled meeting from that date. Education Services, we've had several times to develop a revised document that addresses the recommendations and reflects more clarity for all of our stakeholders. You've already received a copy of the recommendations and the newly added actions in the plan. So on tonight's board agenda, you have a board item requesting your approval of this LCP with the revised recommendations. Our next steps will be to submit this document to the county office for them to post on their county website. However, no further review or recommendations will take place. And so the LCP content has not changed, but rather been enhanced by the feedback from the county. And again, Ed Services creating a format that makes it easier for stakeholders to read and understand. So with that being said, I'm going to have Dr. Chavez continue with our presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Steffi. Good evening, Board of Education and Dr. Avila. I will be highlighting the recommendations received from the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, and I will also be going over some of the changes made to the learning continuity and attendance plan. This slide here will look familiar to you as it is a document you received that outlines the specific recommendations made to our LCP. Although on this slide you can see a snippet of the document with 2 major sections of the LCP and approximately 7 recommendations, please keep in mind that there are approximately...
Excuse me, are we supposed to be able to see the slide?
Ms. O'Kelly, we just wanted to show you a snippet of the document you already received, so this should look familiar to you.
I can't see.
You received it yesterday.
Yes,
I know, but...
Yeah, the presentation is not live right now other than the voice. So
right.
If you have
that's what I thought.
Yeah, copy of it in front of you.
I was wondering how I was supposed to see it. Okay.
Okay.
Comment. The presentation is live on YouTube. Search for Rialto USD on YouTube, or go to, let's see, that's the easiest way. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Ms. O'Kelly, would you like me to wait for you guys to log on to the presentation?
No, that's okay.
Okay, so then I'll keep going. So on the snippet, you can see 7 recommendations. Please keep in mind that there are 23 recommendations with subsections that were made by the county office. So I won't go into the details of the newly revised LCP in this presentation, as you already have the document. However, I want to point out that if you have any specific questions regarding the recommendations, feel free to ask at the end of the presentation or use the document as a reference point. So the next slide here. So for the next few slides, I will be going over 4 major areas that were adjusted in our LCP. This slide here is area number 1 of the sections I will be reviewing with you tonight. This section addresses stakeholder engagement. The image you see here is the old document, although there was quite a bit of language around what had been done to solicit stakeholder information. It was suggested by some that the format may have made it difficult to extract the information. Therefore, in this slide here, on the left, you can see a screenshot of the newly revised document for the sections addressing stakeholder engagement. And on the right side of the slide, you can see what's new in the document. The revised document has new headings and bullets for ease of reading. The content in this area was also revised to be broken down by stakeholder group. We edit the content to include the process for soliciting information, reviewing the feedback from stakeholders, and then using it to drive the changes. For example, by surveying our parents, we found 2 major things. Number 1, 45% of our parents would like us to improve communication. And number two, only 21% of our parents reported a high level of comfort in having their child return to a face-to-face model. We included this impact from the feedback under the stakeholders section. To support better communication, we purchased Remind app, which is now being utilized at all schools. And to ensure a safe return, we developed our crisis response teams that have organized procedures for a safe return with PPE and social distancing measures. Okay, here for our next slide, we will go over the second section I will review with you tonight. This section pertains to pupil participation and progress. The image you see here is the old document. The section requires us to respond to how we will track our students' live contact time and how we will measure participation. On the first document we submitted, we described how we were going to track student progress using our newly developed engagement logs. On our next slide, we see a screenshot of the revised document for pupil participation and progress on the left, and on the right, you can see the changes. The revised document has new headings and bullets for ease of reading. And beyond the section for tracking of weekly engagement, we included how we would monitor our students' academic progress, which is really why we are here, to improve our students' academic outcomes. We included that student learning is continuously being assessed at each school site through formative assessments. Formative assessments can be as formal as an iReady assessment, or as simple and quick as a quiz or quick check for understanding. The information is then utilized as a basis for instruction. Teachers develop and deliver lessons that are scaffolded to meet the needs of our students. This slide here is area number 3 of the sections I will review with you. It pertains to pupil learning loss strategies. The image that you see here is the old document. The prompt wanted us to respond to pupil learning loss strategies specifically for our significant student groups: foster youth, English learners, and low-income students. Although we did not receive any recommendations from the county in this area, we did hear from our stakeholders that they desired to have more information about what is being done specifically to support these student groups, in addition to our African American students. So let's move on to the new slide so we can see some brief changes. Okay, in this newly revised section, again, we added the new bullets and the headings for ease of reading. We included other school personnel and stakeholder feedback. We added additional detail and strategies for EL, foster youth, African American, and low income populations. For example, if you're looking at the
Yeah, I have a few comments. I don't know who put our package together, but I know mine. Under African American, they left it off in mid-sentence. I never saw anything for socioeconomically disadvantaged or for SPED or for foster youth. So I don't know if we're missing information or it was not addressed.
So are you talking about the one-sheeter, Ms. O'Kelly?
I'm talking about where it says pupil learning loss strategies at the top, addressing learning loss for English learners. And then the second one is addressing learning loss for African American students, but it's not even complete. It stops in mid-sentence.
Perfect. Okay, I see what you're saying. So what you're seeing here is just a clip from the actual document. The document, it's more than 50 pages, so we weren't able to put, the entire document. It's just a section, a clip of it.
Well, it doesn't even have, like I said, special ed or socioeconomically disadvantaged or foster youth, so I don't know what, if anything, we are doing for them.
Yes, so this is just part of the PowerPoint, but we will have the entire document that was revised up on our website for you and our community to review tomorrow. It's going to be up on our website.
Okay. Well, I don't know how we're supposed to approve something when we can't even see the whole thing.
Okay.
Mrs. O'Kelly, just to let you know, this is a sample of the entire document. So what we were doing is highlighting sections from it that had some of the different headings and things that we made in formatting to make it easier for folks to understand. So what you're looking at is only a sample of the entire document. And what you have...
And I understand that, but we received in our board update where it said that we are approving the changes, not the document. But the item reads
Correct.
that we are approving the final learning continuity and attendance plan, or LCP, for the 2020-2021 school year. So what are we approving here?
The recommendations that you received?
But I didn't even receive all of them. Like I said, I don't have special ed. I don't have socioeconomically disadvantaged. I don't have foster youth. I have no idea what those recommendations are.
Ms. O'Kelly, those were part of the original document. What we're showing you now is just a sample of how we enhanced the document for that section. So you don't have recommendations in your packet that show that piece.
And actually,
we didn't even finish the African American section.
No,
I like things to be complete if I'm going to be asked to vote on it.
No, Ms. O'Kelly, if we go back to the first slide when I started presenting, there, that document that you received has every single prompt and every single recommendation that was made by the county office, and whether or not we adopted that into the actual document. And so each board member should have the prompt and then the actual recommendation, and whether or not it was adopted and edited in our document. And it's slide 4. It's currently being shown on your end. You should be able to see a clip, that snippet from the original document that was submitted in your board packet. On the top it says section, and then prompt, the actual prompt in the recommendations that we received, and then the actual recommendations. So you're absolutely right. We did not get recommendations for every single subgroup. We got recommendations under specific prompts that the county provided for us. And so we responded only to the...
We don't have the entire... I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be argumentative, but if we don't have the entire document, how are we supposed to assess this and make decisions?
Well, Ms. O'Kelly, the document is a local document. This is our document to have. The county, we incorporated the recommendations from the county in order to enhance the document. And so we didn't present to you the document, the enhanced document, but the recommendations that we placed in the document. That document is going to be available for inspection for the entire community tomorrow.
We're supposed to vote on it tonight without seeing the entire thing.
Your vote is on the recommendations.
Ms. O'Kelly, if we can proceed with the presentation and we can table the action item, and then we can reconvene once you have the full document so that you can have that opportunity to review and sequence, and so that you'll be able to go ahead and take action once given the information in front of you.
That sounds better. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. O'Kelly. I'm going to now move forward to the slide that I was on. Let's see. Okay, so here we are. So for example, if you're looking at the slide under addressing learning loss for African American students, we have moved around the content to clearly display our efforts with culturally linguistic responsive teaching and learning, which is being implemented at specific sites through the professional development of our students, of our staff.
You notice how it ends in an incomplete sentence.
No, I do see that. On the slide itself, it's just a snippet of the document. So yeah, it does cut it off. But the full document is complete. And we will get that to the board, definitely. Okay, so now we're in area 4. that we're reviewing tonight. So this slide here is area 4, and it is the final section I will review with you tonight. This section pertains to access to devices and connectivity. We had 4 recommendations in this area. The image that you see here is the old document, and although there is quite a bit of language around what had been done to provide access to devices, it was suggested by some that the formatting may have made it difficult to extract the information. So therefore, we go to the new slide. You will see that in this slide, this is the revised document. This document version has new headings and bullets for ease of reading. The content in this area was also revised to include what process was used to determine the needs of our students during distance learning. 2, we described the plan for providing access to devices and connectivity for all students. 3, we described how the district ensured families with unique circumstances have access to devices and connectivity. And 4, we included a description of methods to use to reach students and families who were unable to access devices and internets during the closure of schools. So, some noteworthy takeaways from this process and this part of the presentation. On tonight's board agenda, you have a board item requesting your approval. And again, we're going to table any action items. Our next steps will be to submit the document to the county office for them to post on their county website. However, no further review or recommendations will take place at the county level. We will post our revised document on our district website as well. We are truly grateful for the process and the completion of this plan, which has helped us address learning during this pandemic, and it will assist our transition into the development of the 21-24 LCAP process. Now I'll invite Ms. Curtis to provide an overview of the plan for the document of the 21-24 LCAP. Thank you.
Good evening, Board of Education and Dr. Avila. This is Elizabeth Curtis, Lead Academic Agent. Through writing this learning continuity plan and LCAPs in the past, we have learned a lot. This process has always been outside of the strategic planning process. And although we have always tried to align the documents as much as possible, we've never had similar processes. So this year, we will tie the building of the 2021 through 24 LCAP to the strategic planning process. And we believe that by developing a more inclusive process for all stakeholders, we can better attain our mission of connecting students to their future aspirations. This diagram should look very familiar to you. This is you've seen it before with strategic planning. Our plan is to use the same strategic planning process and apply it to the 3 LCAP goals of pupil outcomes, conditions of learning, and engagement. Stakeholders are familiar with the process of planning and action teams, and this will allow for much greater input and participation from our stakeholders. Although we are pleased to have the learning continuity and attendance plan in place, we know that we immediately need to begin working on our new 3-year LCAP. So just starting next month, November through December, we'll convene LCAP planning team. Then in January through March, we have 2 tasks. We need our LCAP goal teams to collect stakeholder input from those 3 goals. We will also hold community town halls, parent advisory committee meetings, and equity team meetings for additional input. Of course, we will convene with our local SELPA and get input from our bargaining units as well. And then in April through May, we'll start working on developing the written LCAP plan and those action plans that need to come forward. And then in June, we'll be back for an LCAP board presentation, as we usually do in June. We want to thank you for your time and attention this evening in this presentation. And at this point, are there any questions for us?
Well, on the shorter document you sent us under recommendations on pupil learning loss, which that's a big thing with me, is pupil learning loss.
Absolutely.
It says yes, like the recommendation was accepted, but then it said no specific recommendations. But I don't know how to interpret that.
That's the one section where there were no recommendations, right?
Okay, I'm going to have Dr. Patty Chavez come and address that question for you.
Okay.
Hi, Ms. O'Kelly. So specifically on pupil learning loss, we received the recommendation that it was unclear on how we would be assessing pupil learning loss in ELA and in math. And so what we had is Dr. Madrid and Dr. D'Souza, they went back and they created a more concise method for addressing learning loss. So basically what was done in both ELA and math, ELD, I'm sorry, ELA was fine. We needed to address pupil learning loss in ELA, ELD, and in math. And we only received recommendations in 2 areas, which was ELD and math itself. So Marina, Dr. Madrid, and Dr. D'Souza went back and just aligned their process a little bit clearer in the document, stating how they were going to gather data set point 1, and then how data set point 2 was going to be gathered to then be able to assess where that gap lived. So we were going to basically create a profile in data set 1 of a typical Rialto student at each grade level for those 2 specific subject matters. And then we were going to compare it with that same subgroup, with that same student group this year, thus being able to identify that gap. After that gap is identified, then that data is sent to each school site, where the principals and their staff create a specific learning plan for their students and all significant groups. So what's really great about this plan is that and it does address learning loss, and it does address learning loss per group of per significant groups of students. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, thank you.
And Mrs. O'Kelly, as we'll provide you with the full or a complete copy of the entire plan with the recommendations, with the actions, and then an extraction of the revisions for easier read, you'll be able to see how each of those areas, especially those that you have expressed concern, are specifically addressed in the revisions.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you, because pupil learning loss has been weighing heavy on my mind.
Yeah, I agree.
It's going to happen for every group, even if you're not a particular group. They're all suffering loss right now.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you so much.
So Ms. O'Kelly, and rest of the board, just know that as we proceed with giving you a copy of the full document, we do have a timeline by when to have that acted on. And so there's going to be a need for us to have a special board meeting for us to come back and just address that one action item that will be pulled today.
Okay, we can probably set that up.
Yeah, I'll call you tomorrow.
That will be a very quick meeting, so.
It will be, and it will be before our next official meeting. It's just that our next official meeting is beyond the deadline of October the 31st. So I'll call you tomorrow. We'll calendar an emergency meeting, and we'll come in and address just that specific item.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, we ready to move on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're moving on to comments. First item is public comments from the floor. At this time, any person wishing to speak on any item not on the agenda will be granted 3 minutes. Do we have any, Dr. Avila?
Yes, we do. First, we have a public comment. It says, "Good evening, board members, Dr. Avila, and community. First and foremost, I would like to once again thank the Nutrition Services Department for their continuous hard work I also want to give a shout out to Fasad and say happy birthday, happy birthday, Fasad. I do want to share that thanks to boxes of food you have been providing, a neighbor of mine was able to feed her family. She was very thankful. I also would like to thank Anna Gonzalez at the Parent Center. Anna has always been very helpful with parents, communicating and helping with resources. Thank you, Anna. I also want to thank Mr. Delgado from Kelly Elementary and Ms. Dominguez at Casera Middle for going the extra mile in order to help parents and students have access to their education, specifically right now during distance learning. Thank you both. Have a wonderful night. Please stay safe. Sincerely, Mirna Ruiz. Next, we have Dear Rialto USD Board President and members of the board. My name is Eddie Sanchez, and I'm submitting a public comment in appreciation and support of the hard work and commitment that Anna Gonzalez has put into making the Parent Center successful. I have seen parents across the community express their appreciation of Anna and the hard work she has given. She is a never-ending local resource for parents, guardians to feel empowered with the necessary information and services they need to enhance their students' development and educational experience. She's constantly assessing the needs of parents, guardians, and being a reliable and a responsive presence for the stakeholders of the school district. As a union representative for essential workers, I often observe mainstream media and key decision makers showering essential workers with praise and admiration, but there needs to be more. We must make sure all essential workers are properly compensated, protected, and respected for the work they do on a daily basis. Properly compensating essential workers enables them to lead more productive lives and creates healthier communities. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Eddie Sanchez. And that's all we have.
Okay. Next item is public comments on agenda items. Any person wishing to speak on any item on the agenda will be granted 3 minutes. Do we have any, Dr. Avila?
No.
Okay. And next, comments from association executive board members, Rialto Education Association, REA. Are there any comments?
No.
California School Employees Association, CSEA. Any comments?
No comment.
Communication Workers of America, CWA.
No comment.
Or Rialto School Managers Association, RSMA.
Yes, we do have comments from them. Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Avila, Innovation Team, and viewing audience. My name is Angela Brantley, President of Rialto School Managers Association. Monday, October 12th, began the week of the school administrator, and the week culminated on Friday, October 16th with Bosses Day. RSMA would like to commend our school administrators and our credentialed and classified leaders throughout the district for your dedication and commitment to our students and the Rialto community. Your leadership matters in the lives of our students and the staff we all serve. Thank you to Dr. Avila and Dr. McDuffie for leading our district with a focus on all of us as humans, guiding us into how to be effective leaders by leading from our mind, body, and spirit. This is a reminder that our next RSMA event will be held on October 29th at 4:30 via Zoom. Please come join us for our second discussion on how we can best serve our community with part 2 of Racism as a Public Health Crisis. Let's stop talking, let's take action. We want to have your voice in the discussion as we strategize to continue to better serve our students. Lastly, get ready for our November event, Taking Care of the Mind, Body, and Spirit. This is an RSMA-sponsored yoga event scheduled for November the 17th. Please be on the lookout for more information. Let's remember to be kind and take care of one another. Have a great evening. And that is from, Angela Brantley.
Okay. And now we move on to comments from the superintendent.
Thank you, President O'Kelly. And just quickly, as been mentioned earlier today, I also want to thank nutrition services staff for their continued meal distribution. our IT department for their continued nonstop efforts to get us back into normal with respect to technology. And just a big, again, ongoing thank you to students, staff, parents for their continued support and their continued efforts to stay positive during this transition and do as much as we can to keep each other safe and students to receive as best an education possible under our circumstances. I also want to just quickly state that I know that there's a lot of interest in reopening schools. There's a lot of interest in getting our athletes back on board to condition in preparation for the next season, which is technically fall sports. And I also know that there's interest from members of the community who oversee youth athletic programs and who use district facilities to return to accessing the facilities in order to continue with their support of our students. But I also want to remind everyone that we continue to be in the purple as a district. We have entered the expected fall spike in coronavirus cases nationally, and that's certainly present here in the Inland Empire. Our daily rate here in Rialto is approximately 24 positive cases per day, at least over the last couple of weeks. And it has put us over the 4,000 cases, positive cases here in Rialto during this whole pandemic, which includes 62 deaths. And so we are doing everything that we can to stay positive, but also to exercise the greatest amount of caution possible to keep everyone positive and safe. So I plead with you, members of the community, to continue to exercise every possible strategy to stay safe and to continue to remain as patient as possible, because everyone's health and possibly life depends on this. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. All right, next item is comments from members of the Board of Education. Let's see, Mr. Ayala, do you have comments tonight?
Sure, I do. Thank you, President O'Kelly. At some point, things will be back to normal. Can't say when, but things will be back to normal. And with that said, let's continue to be proactive and protect jobs here in Rialto Unified School District. It's a fact that students learn more and are better served when the student-teacher ratios are lower. We still have a $16 million deficit that needs to be addressed. That's the white elephant in the room. Let's be the district and the community who cared enough to protect all our workers by being proactive with plans and not waiting for the last moment when our options are limited. Please, let's come up with a plan to protect our staff. We will be rewarded in the long run. In the short term, things seem normal. Maybe not normal, but they seem to be okay. It's kind of quiet. But we've been down this road before. Let's do our homework. Let's come up with Plan B. Let's do something so that we can assure those staff members who are on a hit list down the road so they don't have to worry. Thank you very much for the opportunity to say a few words, and I hope everybody stays safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ayala. You stay safe, too.
Thank you.
Mr. Montes, you have comments?
Thank you, Ms. O'Kelly. Not sure if our student board members with us tonight.
I believe she is, and we can get, yeah. Hey, Destiny.
Hi, Destiny.
Hi, guys.
I don't know if it's okay with you, Ms. O'Kelly, if she can go before me.
Yes, I'm sorry. We need to write that in the agenda because I just skip over it every time. So, if we could get a statement under comments from members of the Board of Education that our student board member goes first or something, so I don't forget.
They could put it on the agenda right after the superintendent.
Yes, we will do that. That's noted. We'll take care of that for our next meeting.
Right.
Well, thanks, guys.
Okay. Go ahead.
I have a couple comments for today. I want to send my thank yous and my understandings to our teachers. And I definitely have a message for our students. I want to let all of our students know that it is almost the end of the semester, and I am very impressed with the things that I'm seeing from us. I'm very impressed with the progress that we've been making, and I want all our students to know that they didn't think that they would get through this, but they have, and they're almost a semester in, and that's extremely impressive. I also want to wish my luck to all our seniors right now who are college applications are open for state and for UCs and for our out-of-state schools. So I want to wish them luck on that application process. And I just want to also wish everybody some safety. I know that cases of COVID have been going up, and I've definitely seen it in friends and family. So I want everybody to take as many precautions as they can to stay safe and to wear their masks and to keep our families safe and our students safe. Okay, that's it for me.
Destiny. Okay. Mr. Montes, do you have comments now?
Yes, thank you, Ms. O'Kelly.
Okay.
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, I don't have a whole lot. I just want to, first and foremost, wish a very happy birthday to Fasad. Fasad has really, really changed our district in so many ways, even before the pandemic, with her energy and her passion, dedication to feeding feeding our children, and really just turning that department into one of the I like to say one of the star departments in our district. So thank you, Fasad, and many blessings and happy birthday, and thank you again to all of your team. Speaking of that, I want to also thank Fiscal Services. They're going to be helping to provide drive-through Halloween, I understand, on the 30th. So thank you for that. I think right now with the amount of stress and pressure that everybody's under, kids being bored at home, parents realizing that it's not so easy. The education of the children, the job of the teachers, the administrators, the counselors, everyone. It's not so easy. It's sometimes we need things like this to appreciate what other people do, and to not take things for granted. Don't get me wrong. I'm a parent too, and parents have a right to be concerned and to complain if they have legitimate complaints about their child's education. But boy, oh boy, do many parents now feel the full force of the amount of tremendous work that goes into providing an education for your children. So again, I want to thank everyone in the district who's involved one way or another with our children's education. A lot of us haven't given up. We see the funny memes out there of the kids, doing funny stuff during distance learning, on their laptops while in class or whatnot. But kudos to all the parents and the students who are doing, who are thriving, not only surviving but thriving with distance learning. And for those of us who might be having a little harder time and still struggling, keep your head up. So right now we ain't going anywhere. Let's just continue to be patient and continue to work with our children, with our students, and continue to have faith in our teachers and our administrators and just our public school system in general, because we're doing the best that we can. People are doing the best that they can, and hopefully, when this is all over and we look back, we can say that we've learned a thing or two, and let's move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Montes. Okay, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you, President O'Kelly. I just wanted to wish everyone safety for their families at home, that I hope that they are all doing well, and our wish from the school board and my wish from my family to yours is that you have a safe time with this COVID. It's nothing to mess around with. Want to backtrack a little here, and a belated public acknowledgement to our admin team and all administrators. Last week was that admin week, and I missed that. But I wanted to catch up on that, and I don't want to go any further without mentioning that it is CSEA National School Bus Safety Week. So kudos to our transportation department for all they're doing for us. And, everyone's working together. It's great to see. The public doesn't get to see it as often as we do, other than those on the real front lines right now. And right now, that happens to be nutrition services, so kudos to them as well. Historically, going to go back and talk about COVID a bit. Historically, the precedent was set 100 years ago. In 1918, the Spanish flu hit us, and it was a worldwide pandemic. That went on for 2 years, and that was not over to where they could say everyone was recovered until a vaccine was actually in place. They had to experiment, and they weren't using vaccines as we know it today. I don't want to gross anybody out, but they came up with a plan. It came from France and came from World War I, where people were actually getting better if they were exposed to the virus from survivors. So that's where the vaccine came from, just a little tidbit. Other than that, coming back at you, President O'Kelly, again, from my heart to yours, from my home to yours, best wishes for you during this pandemic. I know it's tough staying indoors, but we may have a short one if the vaccine comes out as promised. But other than that, it may go a little further than that. So hang in there. We're all in it together. Back to you, President O'Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Okay, Board Vice President, Ms. Walker.
Thank you, Board Member O'Kelly. I just want to say, just make sure, for families, as these numbers and cases start to rise again and our flu season is coming up, please just stay safe, be safe, and then on that same journey, don't forget to vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Walker. And now it's on to me, and I just have short comments tonight, and then I want to share something with you. First of all, I want to thank anybody who's actually listening to us tonight and joining us. As we all know, we are definitely going through a very challenging time. And distance learning is not ideal by any means, but it does work for students who log on and engage in their classrooms every day. If it seems difficult and you think you can't do it, persevere. If you decide that one way or another you will do it, you will. I want to share this short poem by Edgar Guest titled, "It Couldn't Be Done." somebody said that it couldn't be done, but he, with a chuckle, replied that maybe it couldn't, but he would be one who wouldn't say so till he tried. So he buckled right in with a trace of a grin on his face. If he worried, he hid it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. So take that to heart. Don't get discouraged. Just go ahead and go for it, and things will get better. Okay. Now we have under public hearing, public information, the Williams Settlement Legislation Quarterly Uniform Complaint Report Summary for July through September 2020. There's nothing to do there except look at it, so it's fine. Consent calendar items. All items on the consent calendar will be acted upon in one motion unless pulled by Board of Education members or the superintendent for individual action. Does anyone, can I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved, Montes.
Can I have a second? Good.
Walker, second.
Are there any polls? If not, we'll take a vote to approve the consent calendar items. For me, it's an aye. Ms. Walker?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Ayala?
Aye.
And Mr. Montes?
Aye.
And we should have started with the preferential vote by student board member Destiny Lopez. We need to move that up to be the first thing on the list so that she can do it when it's the appropriate time. Destiny, what is your preferential vote?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And now, we move on to discussion action items. Oh, we're tabling that, correct? Final learning continuity plan is being tabled.
Yes, action on this item will be tabled and rescheduled at another meeting. I have been informed that it does not require a special board meeting, that it can be tabled for our next regularly scheduled board meeting, which will be in November, which gives us a little bit of additional time to get all the needed information for you, for your consideration.
Oh, okay, great.
And
all right, so then we just move to adjournment. Our next regular meeting of the Board of Education.
Ms. O'Kelly?
Oh, yes.
I'm going to ask for a favor. If we can please delay the adjournment, I would like the board to please join me in closed session for a minute.
Okay.
So
fine.
So if we can please mute our buttons, and I will let you know once we are off the air, and then after that, we will resume public session for proper adjournment. Okay, so stand by.
Okay.
Okay, Mrs. O'Kelly and board, we're back in public session, open session.
Okay. And we're moving on to adjournment. The next regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Rialto Unified School District will be held on November 18th, 2020 at 7:00 p.m. telephonically and via streamlined only. Materials distributed or presented to the Board of Education at the board meeting are available upon request from the Superintendent's office. I hope everybody has a happy Halloween, but this is a real good reason to wear a mask. Halloween and it's protection. So everybody stay safe and hopefully we will see each other soon.
We need a vote?
Yeah. No, not as it shows. Do we usually vote on adjournment?
Motion to approve, to adjourn.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Martinez, second.
Second, and let's take the vote. For me, it's an aye. For Ms. Walker, it's a aye. For Mr. Martinez,
Aye.
for Mr. Ayala,
Aye.
and Mr. Montes.
Aye.
Okay, thank you all very much. And like I said, hopefully we'll see each other soon. Stay safe.